Look at this image. Alyssa Thomas's fist pressed straight into Caitlin Clark's throat. 3 Mercury players hovering over her while she's flat on the floor. Now listen to what Thomas said about it days later. "I didn't even know that play happened." That's not an explanation. That's a confession. And she doesn't even realize she just gave it to us. Stick around, because we're exposing the lie, proving this hit was planned days before it happened, roasting the league leadership that let it slide, and showing you exactly which players stopped staying quiet about it. No more waiting around. Let's get into the tape. But before that, let me know down in the comments.
How do you think it affects your ability to play going forward?
It doesn't. It doesn't at all. At the end of the day, it's basketball. Basketball is meant to be physical. Like I said, I didn't even know that play happened. If you watch the clip back, no one in the stands, their bench knew that it happened. But again, that doesn't change anything of how we play basketball. Basketball is a contact sport. The hatred that we're experiencing over a play that honestly was a complete accident. No one even knew it happened. It's just unfortunate. But
Rewind 2 days before the throat punch, back to June 22nd. 6 technical fouls in 8 seconds. 1 ejection. DeWanna Bonner in Clark's face from the opening tip to the final buzzer. That game ended in total chaos, and everybody figured it would just blow over. It didn't. Because after the final whistle, Mercury head coach Nate Tibbetts stood at the podium and said something you don't usually hear from a coach talking about a rivalry game. He said, "I know we'll remember it too. Not we'll adjust our defense. Not we'll clean up our execution." He said they'd remember it. That's not a scouting report. That's a promise.
These are fun games to get in. It got a little chippy in the fourth. I'm sure they'll remember it, and I know we'll remember it too.
You try and get the team refocused after what happened there in the fourth quarter and get everybody back centered and trying.
Yeah, we've got a competitive group, a veteran group. They've been around this for a long time. They're not afraid of the smoke. We're going to compete at a high level, and you just stay with it and keep playing.
Then Alyssa Thomas opened her mouth, and this is where it gets damning. She talked about sticking to the game plan and getting more physical going forward. Sounds harmless, right? Except she said that before June 24th ever tipped off. So whatever the game plan was, it existed 2 full days before Thomas ever stepped on the floor for that rematch. She didn't improvise a knee to the groin in the heat of the moment. She confirmed the plan out loud, on camera, to reporters, before the game even happened. Now bring in Stephanie White. White coached Thomas for 2 seasons in Connecticut. She knows exactly how Thomas operates, what buttons she presses, how she plays right up against the line without ever quite crossing it in the box score. And White herself went on record saying Clark doesn't like physicality. Sit with what that actually is. That's not innocent analysis from a rival coach. That's a blueprint, handed straight to every physical defender in this league, including the one who used to run through screens for White back in Connecticut.
A bit better, but offensively, you guys were getting shots.
yeah, offensively, we know we can attack them however we want. That's one of the key emphasis when you play them. Just moving them and trying to get to the basket. I think when we do that and attack them and get to the free throw line, it's a different game.
Then DeWanna Bonner, Thomas's fiancée, dropped the word that ties this whole thing together after the June 24th game. Revenge. Not a hard-fought win. Not a statement game. Revenge. Line up the timeline and that word stops sounding casual. Tibbetts promises they'll remember it. Thomas confirms the game plan. White's scouting report is already sitting out there in public. And 2 days later, Thomas executes a fist to the throat, a knee to the people running this league had every chance to protect her, and they chose not to use it.
Any of you guys, do you share that frustration? What would you have told the league?
Honestly, I didn't even know I was being suspended until 10 minutes before it was put on social media. We still have yet to hear anything from Kathy. It's no surprise. You can see what's being said on social media, and it's unfortunate, but as usual, she remains silent, and that's unfortunate when our lives are being threatened.
Now go back and listen to what she actually told reporters after all that, because once you know the plan existed before the game, every word out of her mouth sounds different. Thomas sat down in front of the cameras and called the whole thing basketball being physical. Said it like it was a rulebook definition. not a description of what her fist did to Caitlin Clark's throat. At the end of the day, it's basketball. Basketball is meant to be physical. Fine, nobody's arguing the game should be soft. But a fist to the throat isn't physical play, it's assault with a scoreboard running in the background.
I think it's not even about the suspension. If that's what they felt was necessary in that moment, then so be it. But I think there's a lot of other plays that you can say the same about. I think the biggest thing is it's just about our safety. We're so concerned about the safety on the court, but time and time again, we're having people threatening our lives, leaking addresses out there, putting crazy pictures that have nothing to do with basketball. So at some point, the league needs to put a stand on it.
Then she said the part that should have ended her credibility right there. I didn't even know that play happened. Sit with that for a second. Multiple camera angles caught it clean. Slow motion caught it clean. And Thomas wants you to believe she genuinely doesn't know her own fist landed in another woman's throat. That's not forgetfulness. That's an insult to anyone who's watched the replay more than once. She kept going. No one in the stands, their bench knew that it happened. Read that sentence again, because it's not a defense, it's a confession wearing a disguise. She's not saying it didn't happen, she's saying nobody caught her. Those are two completely different claims, and only one of them matters for accountability. Her whole logic runs on one rule: if the referees miss it live, it doesn't count. Not because her conscience is clear.
What's the last week been like for you?
Crazy. The playing the game, being suspended, just the whole narrative that's being painted out there. It's unfortunate that it's come to this over basketball. A lot of us, myself included, didn't even know the play took place until after, the game, and now we're being painted as thugs. And
the second the accountability train pulls into the station.
Have you ever experienced something like that before?
A couple years ago when we played Indy in the playoffs, same thing, but not to this extent. Our families are being threatened, kids are being threatened, people are sending racial slurs and all types of stuff. And there's a difference between trolling and there's a difference between hatred. And the hatred that we're experiencing over a play that honestly was a complete accident. No one even knew it happened. It's just unfortunate, but yeah, the league has to do better in this instance.
And here's what never showed up anywhere in that press conference. Not one sorry, not one sentence that started with an apology. Not once did she say Caitlin Clark's name attached to anything resembling concern for her health. She talked about her own suspension,
I think it's not even about the suspension. If that's what they felt was necessary in that moment, then so be it. But I think there's a lot of other plays that you can say the same about. I think the biggest thing is it's just about our safety. We're so concerned about the safety on the court, but time and time again, we're having people threatening our lives, leaking addresses out there, putting crazy pictures that have nothing to do with basketball. So at some point, the league needs to put a stand on it.
The throat, caught on multiple angles, reviewed after the fact and upgraded to a flagrant 2, and the punishment landed on a single missed game against Toronto. That's not a suspension. That's a scheduled day off with extra steps. Look at the exact language the league used in their own announcement. They called it a non-basketball act. Sit with those words.
Alyssa Thomas don't take accountability. So now there's a whole smear campaign on the Caitlin Clark fan base. Here come Kathy trying to come out and save face for Alyssa Thomas and blame the fans. It's crazy, man. This is crazy. I hope y'all are ready to grow abs and bust open your rib cages, because y'all are gonna laugh so hard at how obtuse and despicable this commissioner and league is, man.
And the officiating crew that stood right there, they called nothing. 0 whistles on a knee to the groin, down on the floor. Stephanie White walked up to those same officials at halftime and told
WNBA vehemently condemns any and all forms of hate. The safety and well-being of everyone in our community is always the league's top priority. We are aware of Alyssa Thomas's comments, and what she and her teammates have experienced is completely unacceptable and not representative of the WNBA community. The league and our security team have been in contact with the Phoenix Mercury organization and remain committed to protecting all players. Sounds so good, don't it? Hey, you know what, Kathy? You know what you forgot at the end? Except Caitlin Clark.
Now let's talk about Kathy Engelbert directly, because she's earned every bit of this. She came out afterward praising the league's review process like it was some kind of victory lap. Meanwhile, her franchise player, the one responsible for sold-out arenas and record-breaking broadcasts, sat at home with a back injury that same review process failed to catch while the game was actually happening. You don't get to praise a system for catching something after the damage is already done. There's the WNBA, and this is where it turns almost funny if it weren't so pathetic. Christine Brennan asked the union a direct, simple question. Is it punishable to put your fist in another player's throat in one sentence? Instead, the WNBA's official response was, quote, respectfully declines comment. Let that sit for a second. Caitlin Clark pays dues into that same union. She's a member of it. And when a reporter handed the Players Association the easiest layup of the year, they passed on it completely.
Keep in mind, Caitlin Clark is part of the Players Union, which means their job is to protect the health and well-being on behalf of the player for the whole league. And in my opinion, they're making it very clear. They are telling you right here, we don't have Caitlin Clark's back.
Compare that silence to how fast this league finds its voice the second fans get criticized. Statements come out within hours. Press releases get drafted overnight. But when an actual player gets physically hurt on camera in front of a national broadcast, the response is silence, followed by a one-game suspension, followed by a commissioner praising her own process. That's not protecting players. That's protecting optics. While the people running this league hid behind non-answers and PR safe language, at least one player looked at the whole situation and said what everybody else was too scared to say out loud. While the league office was busy dodging questions, Courtney Williams just said the quiet part out loud on a live stream, and it landed harder than anything Kathy Engelbert put out in an official statement. Williams wasn't even talking about Thomas specifically. She was talking about players in general getting worked up over internet noise. Her advice was blunt. The internet is not a real place. Just press the block button, bro. Press the block button and then move on. Williams looked at the same kind of noise and said, handle it yourself, block the account, keep playing. One player owned her space. The other one used her space to dodge the conversation everybody actually wanted answered. That contrast tells you everything about which players in this league are built for accountability and which ones aren't. And it's not just words. Sophie Cunningham has made herself the answer to a question nobody in Phoenix wanted asked out loud. What happens if you keep going after Clark? Cunningham planted herself between Clark and Bonner during that June 22nd blowup, and the message was simple. Anybody who wants a piece of Clark goes through Cunningham first. That's not drama. That's a teammate deciding the cheap shots stop getting a free pass.
During real time last night, I did not see that happen. I don't, none of our team saw it happen, because I promise you if we would have seen that happen, we would have had her back. Unfortunately, this type of shit happens every single game to her, and the league and the refs do absolutely nothing about it.
Myisha Hines-Allen backed that up with her own body on the line. She got tossed from that same game defending her point guard, and that ejection cost Indiana her minutes for the rest of the night. The Fever were willing to eat that cost. Losing a rotation player for half a game is a real price, and they paid it without blinking, because the alternative was letting Clark absorb hit after hit with nobody answering for it. That's the shift happening in real time. This isn't the same Fever team that used to take a cheap shot and just jog back on defense. Cunningham and Hines-Allen turned targeting Clark into something that actually cost the other team. Not just a whistle here or there, but real minutes, real chaos, real consequences on the scoreboard.
It just shows that we're gonna stick together and we're gonna have each other's backs. Yeah, so I mean it's big for us.
Not talk to you about you being nice off the court, but that kind of player on the court. Was it fun for you a little bit to get the fire out in a moment like that, stand up for your team?
I mean, I'm gonna stand up for all my teammates. It doesn't matter who it is. That's just who I am. So yeah.
The way that everybody seemed to kind of get involved in that, and including Raven, the rookie, coming in there, I guess, just what does that say about this group and where you guys are at as a team?
I mean, that we're gonna have each other's backs. I think that's the biggest thing. And just sending a message, I guess, around that, like, we're gonna have each other's backs.
And basketball has a way of settling its own accounts. After that scuffle, Bonner stepped to the free throw line and missed. Thomas stepped up right after her and missed too. Clark didn't say a word. She just stood there and watched both of them clank it. Ball don't lie. Old phrase, still true. The players are handling their business on the court now, but the real cost of all this isn't happening between the lines. It's happening somewhere the league can't fix with a whistle. Because this stopped being a PR headache the second the money started disappearing. And that's a completely different kind of problem for a league that just finished celebrating a landmark labor deal.
As you can see, the entire arena is up for sale. For sale by owner, 2 tickets for a make-believe basketball game featuring a collection of unknown players who go unrecognized at family reunions. The cheapest seats for this instant classic are selling for $16. Seats in the lower bowl are selling for less than $100.
Christine Brennan reported that analysts were projecting a 50% ratings decline on broadcasters remember exactly how fragile the audience turned out to be. And here's where it gets genuinely embarrassing for league leadership. Every bit of that money traces back to the revenue growth Clark's presence created. The league risked the exact asset funding the raises everybody just spent months celebrating. You don't get to cash the check, Clark wrote, and then fail to protect the hand that signed it.
This does not look good. This does not look good. You can see empty seats all over the place. All over the place. The upper deck is completely, you see these seats up here completely empty. Completely empty up here. Barely any people up here. I mean, it's empty seats all over the place, man. You could spot a nickel on the floor. Bad. Look at it. This whole section is empty. The entire section is empty.
And decided their attention wasn't something the league gets to take for granted anymore. Empty upper decks, Alyssa Thomas told on herself. The league let her walk. And fans aren't buying the accident excuse anymore. Empty seats already proved that. Let me know down in the comments what the league should do to Thomas for finally admitting what we all know, that she planned it all along. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications as we're bringing you all the action and top stories. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.